welcome back to
But Did You Die?
With the Jet Sisters. You'll never guess where we are. We're at TPC.
That's a golf spot.
So something's happening. What is it? Oh, it was really close. Oh. Welcome to episode 11. We're gonna go watch some golf, but now back to your regularly scheduled podcast.
Wow. And we're back into our podcast spot like magic.
I will never, ever go to the TPC ever again unless I am in a suite, because that was the best. We like golf now. That was a big surprise of the day. We're literally watched all day. How long did you think we were going to be at the golf tournament, Rachel?
Well, truly maybe 2-3 hours, and we were there for the entire day. But let's save that. Let's save more about the Players Championship for later in the show.
Yeah.
Before we get into our fun topic and everything, I just want to talk about this epic weekend we've just had besides TPC. Can you believe I found a beef broccoli recipe and I'm making it right now?
That is not where I thought you were going with that. No, I cannot believe that. It still amazes me that you're an adult.
But for real, can you believe that your book launch party was this week and it went amazing? I don't even know where to begin.
It was so much better even than I could have expected. It was just so lovely and everybody was there, and I don't know. I don't even know how to describe it because it was an out-of-body experience. Everyone kept asking me, like, how do you feel? Like, it was such a, I don't know. I never felt that whole, I just never felt like that before. So it was just a whole thing. And this week, I've seen my book in a bookstore for the first time. I've signed my first books. I've hosted my first book signing, and I've done my first book reading. It's just all a wild experience. Very, very wild.
Yeah, even when we got there, so you had your book launch party at San Marco Books.
Yes.
And we arrived and we had our cookies and our copies of books, and it was kind of like, what do we do now? Never done this before. But I think it went off really well, and it was super cute. And I was sweaty for you as you were reading your book, but
I was so sweaty. I had friends that cry about, they'll cry about anything, and they're just on the front row crying as I'm reading. And so I'm like, that's crazy. And then there's my 10th grade history teacher, and he's like, we're so proud of you, Orth. And he's so excited. And Dad's just like, yeah, it's my girl. And
this book's about me.
Can I just point out that I couldn't have gotten any of it done if you were not there, because we arrived 45 minutes early, and so did everyone else. So I just started talking to people, and Ray just started putting all the things out, and my husband and her husband, they just like set the tables up, and Rick had this gorgeous cake commissioned, and it looks like a book. Looks like my book. Somebody even thought it was the manuscript. Did not know it was cake. And so we had to put that out, and we put the beautiful cookies out, which thank you for saving me a couple, because they were hot commodities and they went real fast. And then everybody was bringing flowers. And so we're like, where do we put everything? It was a trip.
I think it's important to note that the bookstore sold out of your book that night, which is a big deal alert. And also Barnes & Noble sold out. The Barnes & Noble in Town Center sold out of your book. The Thursday it came out.
Yeah, they did. As a matter of truth. That is the truth.
True. There was one copy. It's gone.
I will say San Marco Books is ordering a whole bunch more, and I'm going to go in and sign all of them this week. So they will have signed copies if you want one. And if you're not a local, you can get your signed copy from them, and they'll ship it to you. So that's exciting too.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
San Marco Books hosted us, and they were incredible. Support your local bookstore. If I've learned nothing else in this journey, is that local bookstores are amazing, and they are keeping authors afloat. So definitely support your local bookstore. And have to thank MedJet because, drum roll please, they are actually sponsoring my book tour, and they will be the reason that I get to come visit a local bookstore near you sometime in the next few months. So if there is somewhere, if you're listening and you want me to come to your town and do a reading or a Q&A or, I don't know, like a tap dance or some kind of TikTok dance, then that is a good way. Just drop me a note and let me know where you live and what your local bookstore is, because I can get in touch with them and then I will come visit you.
I love it.
Thanks, Medjet.
I would love you to do a tap dance in a bookstore. All right, Ange. I've had it with your book. It's over. No more.
Let's never talk about it again.
This is officially the end of Angie's book podcast. Let's get back to... We have to talk about the travel news of the week. And Ange, I'm going to let you dive into this one.
Did you read that a Boeing plane landed and a panel was just like not on it anymore? They were like, oh, hey, look, a panel fell off that plane. What is going on, Boeing planes? Why are you not screwing stuff on tightly?
I didn't see that. I'm not surprised, unfortunately. Here's a question that may be dumb. Aren't all planes Boeings?
No.
Sure?
There's like Airbus and, other ones. But a lot of planes are Boeings, because what I was trying to see what airline mostly uses them, and bad news, most of them have some Boeings, but United has a lot, Delta has a lot. American, like half their planes are Boeings from what I read.
I forgot this happened. The guy who was the whistleblower of the Boeing plane thing dies this week. Like, isn't there was a whole trial about it, and he was testifying, and he killed himself?
Sure, just like Jeffrey Epstein. Listen.
Something is afoot, people. I'm scared of flying. Welcome to our travel podcast.
Right. Disasters. It just seems like there's this systemic problem at Boeing. And I'll be honest, I haven't done the deep dive rabbit hole that I usually do, but clearly there's something wrong. If doors are falling off and panels are falling off mid-flight and people are killing themselves during whistleblower depositions or whatever, like none of that is okay. So yeah, I'm a little weirded out about the whole flying situation, and I don't know what kind of airplane it was, but there was some really severe turbulence on maybe like an Air New Zealand flight. I barely read the headline, but like 50 people were pretty seriously injured due to turbulence.
Well, turbulence doesn't have anything to do with the plane.
No, definitely not. But like, don't take your seatbelt off and wear a helmet.
How do you tell if you're on a Boeing?
You can usually tell when you're booking your flight. It'll tell you what the flight equipment is. So that's one way people know how to choose a seat, if the bulkhead is good or bad, or if your window seat is actually one of those fake ones it's a window, but really it's the wall. You can kind of dig more into that as you're booking, which is only so helpful because, as you know, sometimes you get bumped to a different flight or things get all moved around, and you can plan all day to be on the exact kind of plane you want to be on. But once you're in the airport on your journey, you just don't know. And are you going to say, well, I'm not getting on a Boeing, so I need the next whatever is not a Boeing? And I mean, yeah, right. No one's going to play that game probably. So I should also say no one was injured in this mysterious panel falling off. Fortunately, like luckily, it didn't chop anybody on the ground. Can you imagine? You're just like out for a run trying to get fit and you get whacked by a Boeing panel? Not awesome. But I don't think that happened to anybody. At least no one's been found whacked. Yeah, not awesome.
Unless it was the whistleblower. Like, it was
morbid.
Full circle. That's too much.
That's too much.
Wild. I imagine we will have more news of Boeing planes because I don't think anything's happening. No one's doing anything.
Well, and who's gonna come forward and say, guys, we're not tightening the bolts very well if what happens to that guy is that, right? Like, so the systemic bad management continues.
Well, now I'm sad.
Yeah, we should start this episode over. Let's go on to our next topic.
All right, let's talk about something happier. Let's talk about the weekend and what happened, because I think this whole weekend turned into something completely different than we expected, which is turning into what we're talking about this week. But before we get into it, let me back up. Angie had her book launch, so Ben and I drove up to Jacksonville to, of course, be a part of that. We talked about that already. That was amazing. TPC, which is the Players Championship, was happening in Jacksonville. And Ben said, oh man, I sure wish we could go. We went. We ended up going. And you got an email.
And it was just like, hey, it was vague. And I was like, this can't be, because literally Ben had just been like, the only thing I ever want in my whole life is to go to the TPC. It would be a dream someday to go to the TPC. And I was like, I didn't even know it was this weekend. I am the worst about events, concerts, festivals. I never know when things are going on. We got invited by Barbados Tourism, sent me an email, and they have a partnership with the PGA that is relatively new, I think, because they have a handful of golf courses in Barbados. And so they're doing a partnership, and so they have a media suite. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. I don't really know much about big golf tournaments. I'm like, yeah, I guess, yeah, okay. So I'm messaging back and forth with them, and I don't want to get Ben's hopes up. But I'm just kind of like, Ben, if hypothetically we could go to TPC this weekend, would you be into that? And Ben's like, yes. Yes, of course. And so he didn't even believe it until we were like walking into the gates. And then he was just, it was very adorable. I like making people's bucket list dreams come true. It was very much fun. So we got to go thanks to Visit Barbados, and went to their media suite and got to see their, they had like panels of their different golf courses like blown up on the walls, and that was it. And we had the most spectacular view of the 16th, where the golf happens, and the 17th. Oh yeah, but also the rest of it.
Yeah, it was we were overlooking the 16th and the 17th hole, which I'm pretty sure the 17th hole was like the most famous hole.
It's absolutely one of the most famous holes in all of golf in all of the world. And we just got to look at it all day because it's the island green. So you hit it sort of over the water, and you have to land it on this, I guess that's what it's called, island green. I don't know. That's what my smoothie is called. I never knew that my favorite smoothie had anything to do with golf. Now I know.
Really, really neat. That was Ben's dream up until, yesterday when we did it. His new dream is now to play golf in Barbados. So I gotta make that happen.
Well, and that's the whole fun thing is we didn't ever think about that before. And now we're like, Barbados, they have a monkey golf course. I don't know if it has anything to do with monkeys being on it, but it looks pretty cool. And our parents, who are not as well traveled as us, but they've been a few places, they went to Barbados. I think before you were even born, they went on a surf trip to Barbados. And I distinctly remember them talking about the monkeys that were like trying to sneak in their room or something. So I've always wanted to go to Barbados and see the monkeys, and now golf. Maybe I'll learn to golf.
We ended up staying in the suite most of the day. Yeah, I thought we would stay for 2, maybe 3 hours. We got there at 9. We left at 5. That is how much fun we were having watching golf.
I didn't want to leave.
No.
We kind of had to get back to the dogs, but I was like, we have to stay the whole time. What if we miss a hole-in-one? Kept waiting for Tiger Woods to show up.
And Ben's like, you get it. Yeah, exactly.
Ben is so happy. No one is more grateful to Barbados tourism than Ben Miller is right now.
All of that was cool, but another cool thing is who showed up in our suite for you Jacksonville Jaguar fans, freaking Trevor Lawrence was there.
Just chilling in our suite. Yeah, I really wanted to ask him if he was here because he wanted a picture with me because I'm a best-selling author with a #1 new release. And then I chickened out because that would be so weird.
That would be super weird.
That would be so weird.
But yeah, it was really, really cool, which got us thinking, how many other cool things are there to do in Jacksonville? Full circle, welcome to our topic of the week. Things to do in Jacksonville.
First of all, swing by your favorite local bookstore and pick up favorite local author's book, Flirting with Disaster. That's like the numero uno thing today to do on TripAdvisor. It's just like go buy Angie Orth's book.
The second thing to do on TripAdvisor is Caddyshack.
Actually, that's the real first thing to do. But yes, the Caddyshack Ranch is a big cat rescue. And it's definitely the top thing to do in Jacksonville. They have tigers. They have lions. They have a bear or two. They have like leopards and pumas and panthers and Arctic foxes and what is the name?
And what do you do?
You get to go watch them be fed, hand fed in most cases, by the owner. And he walks around and he tells you about all the different animals and you just cruise around. And so if you've been to the zoo, during the day, you may or may not see the animals. Often they're just kind of laying around sleeping because big animals tend to sleep a lot. But if you're there at dinner time, which is the way Caddyshack does things, you're going around and the critters, they are running around. They are jumping in their pools. They are throwing the ball. They are roaring and chuffing, and it's really fun and cute, and the little kids get so excited. So yeah, that's a fun experience and something you can only do in Jacksonville. So check out the Caddyshack Ranch.
Do you know I've never done that? And aren't they your friends?
Yeah, you always say that, but you're just never here long enough, and if you are, we have things to do. So we really need to plan it, especially before it gets too hot out. And they've been doing so many renovations lately. All the animals have gotten these huge upgraded enclosures. And every so often they do like seasonal enrichments. So in Halloween, they'll all get a bunch of pumpkins and they'll just tear their pumpkins apart, or they'll get Christmas trees and they'll destroy their Christmas trees. And they're just very well treated. And I know they're like family. I can say that I won't give you all the details, but I know this to be true from personal experience. So they take really good care of their critters.
You mentioned Halloween, and that reminded me of when I was living in Jacksonville as a child, going to the zoo and doing the Halloween spooktacular thing that they did for kids.
The zoo or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. The zoo in Jacksonville also is so much fun. Don't we have the best zoo in America? Did I make that up?
You probably made that up, but it's definitely a good one, especially for a market like Jacksonville where you might not expect. It's a lovely zoo, and they are starting to do a lot of seasonal things, like light, where you go at night and it's all lit up and it's cool. Yeah. Here's a fun fact you might not know about Jacksonville. Jacksonville has the largest urban park system in the nation.
Would you believe I knew that?
Yeah, you probably did know that. There's 80,000 acres of parks. Did you know that? That's a lot of acres.
I didn't know the number, but I knew there were lots of parks.
2 are national park sites. There are 7 state parks and 400 city parks. So there's a lot of outdoor stuff. I think people probably don't know that about Jacksonville, that it's a very much outdoor kind of a city. It's beach, it's river, it's marine estuaries and parks and marshes, and there's lakes. Like, it's very much an outdoorsy kind of a place.
Well, Jacksonville is huge. You name it.
Largest city land area wise, I think, in the U.S.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm always like, how long is it going to take to get there? Nah, I'm not going.
Yeah, you can drive from one end to Jacksonville to the other, and it will take you 2 hours.
It's just a very big, sprawling space, but there is a lot of green space and a lot of water and all of that. Like, miles and miles and miles of beaches, which is another fun thing to do, a fun thing people come here for.
Do you have a favorite beach?
Mickler's Landing is a good one if you're looking for shark teeth. That's a very good one. But I mean, you've got Atlantic Beach, you've got Jax Beach, you've got Neptune Beach, you've got Hannah Park, and Amelia Island, and St. Augustine. Like, it's just beach, 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 beach. So, kind of spoiled for choice, and can't go wrong, and just like road trip it out.
Everyone loves the beach. Kids love the beach. Adults love the beach. College students love beach. I think Jacksonville has 3 colleges. There's Jacksonville University, JU. There's UNF, North Florida. And then there's FSCJ, which is the state college.
Yeah, sounds good to me. We also have like the Mayo Clinic, which is an incredible research facility and all the best doctors, and you wouldn't even think about that because it's just such a big town. You know, there's pockets of everything. We've got one of the biggest golf tournaments in the world that I forget about every year. You know, we have this big stadium with, I don't know if this is still true, but it used to be true that we had the biggest like HD TV screens in the world. And it's probably not true anymore.
I don't think it's true anymore. I think recently somebody else. Our stadium does have a swimming pool, and I don't think anyone else does.
No, our stadium has pools, and our mascot often zip lines from the top of the stadium down to the field, which I need to talk to somebody about making that something anybody can pay to do, because I want to do that so bad. That's how I'm going to celebrate like my next book deal. I'm jumping off the stadium into the middle of a Jaguar game. And be like, "Hi, Trevor Lawrence. I'm here to give you my autograph."
Hey, Jacksonville's cool. We just listed a whole bunch of things. And I'm sure you have a blog post about all of the things to do in Jacksonville, where to stay.
A blog post?
Surely.
My friend, I have a blog.
Oh, yeah.
I have a whole website called JacksonvilleTraveler.com. Have I updated it in a year? No, I've been writing a book. But now that I can see daylight again, maybe I'll get back onto that, and I'll go back to being my Jacksonville expert kind of a self.
So there you go. Yeah. If you need tips, tricks, ideas, links, things, we'll link it somewhere you can find it.
Show notes.
But it would not be But Did You Die podcast without talking about the disaster. Dun, 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 dun. One time there was a fire in Jacksonville in 1901.
It was a great conflagration. We weren't there, but that is probably the main disaster Jacksonville is known for.
If I said that this fire destroyed 146 city blocks, more than 2,000 buildings, and left 10,000 people homeless, how long do you think this fire was burning?
Is this like a word problem? Do I need
No, I just want you
to guess?
Just guess. How
long with all that much stuff? I don't know, what, like a week?
It was 8 hours. That is how fast it happened. It was a stove. There was one little flame that jumped over to some moss that was drying for a mattress factory. All of Jacksonville just up in flame, literally.
Truly, and that's when the majority of Jacksonville was concentrated in what is now downtown. So every historic building pretty much was gone. We lost the majority of historic buildings. So there's not many buildings older than that in Jacksonville. There's definitely some in other neighborhoods and a few that survived, but the majority of our interesting architecture is from post 1901 because it was just all burned up. And did you know that the fire was so big that the burning, glow from the burning embers could be seen in Savannah?
That's insane.
That can't be true. There's really no way to fact check that, but that is what legend says. And you could also apparently see the smoke from North Carolina, which that doesn't surprise me now because, like New York City will be getting smoke from Nebraska or something. I don't get how any of that works, but.
No, but that was a recent thing. Remember, there was so much smoke up in Canada that it was coming down here. Yeah. So I don't know. I kind of believe that.
It's possible. I don't know about the burning embers, but if your whole entire downtown was on fire, I guess maybe it's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. But you can take architecture tours now and see whatever is left, which would be interesting to see, but we had some architects come in after and kind of start rebuilding things.
Yeah. So that's the big disaster of Jacksonville. Now let's get to the good stuff. Travel tip. If you are visiting Jacksonville, it's so big. There's a lot to do. You're gonna want to drive. If you're coming here for a concert or to go to the beach or an activity, you're gonna want to rent a car. I promise. You're
Just
not.
don't even think about public transportation. Don't even consider it. Like you could do Uber, depending on what your plan is. Like if you're gonna stay in one neighborhood and mostly have your activities concentrated there, but truly, if you're going to rely on Ubers, it's going to be pretty expensive. If you're staying in one, like staying downtown, going to the beach, coming back, going somewhere else, like you need a car. The public transportation here is not awesome. Not awesome.
It doesn't exist.
No, it exists. Like we have a bus system, but because Jacksonville is so big, it's not like, oh, I'm going to hop the bus to over there. It's like, oh, I'm going to hop a bus to there, transfer to a bus to there, transfer to, like, it would take hours to get anywhere that you wanted to go on the public bus, and by then you could have just driven there or Ubered there. So
yeah, just brave the roads and rent a car. Can you hear Sheba barking at me? She's sitting in the corner, just growling at me, glaring, like, get me out of here.
What's wrong with her?
Ben locked her in here. Jacksonville's pretty cool. Come visit.
What is this come visit business? You don't even live here.
Hey, go to Jacksonville sometimes, maybe, and visit your mom.
Yeah, go stay with our mom. Actually, Rick and I have an Airbnb here, so if you ever do come visit, give me a call and maybe I can give you a friends and family discount. Why not?
Very good. Very good.
Yeah.
Hey, what are you doing this week?
I want to go to sleep, man. What I really want to do is just like lay in a puddle. I want to have a bath and I want to get a massage, and I don't think I'm going to do any of that. I've got podcasts to record. I've got prep to do for the Dallas travel show this weekend. I've got a whole book to read for an interview that I'm doing. I've got a TV appearance on Wednesday. Not to mention, there's a lot of stuff that I know is going to happen that is book related, but since I've never done this before, I don't know what it is. I just know that, things are happening. I just don't know what they are. So, I mean, at any moment, and this would be great. Like, this is not a complaint, but at any moment, this thing could pop off, and I could have to fly to New York because now I'm just like Ariana Grande. I gotta get squired around in a limousine or something. I doubt it. This is not what really happens to people who write books, but it could. What are you doing this week?
Working. That is all. I literally have nothing. We got nothing.
Well, good. Get a little extra rest on my behalf. Because I still have 11 million things to do. But the pressure of launch day hovering over me is past. So now it's a little less, I don't know, it's less pressure, even though it's still just as much stuff to do.
Yeah. This is the last chance I actually have one last thing about your book, because we're never talking about it again.
Flirting with Disaster is now available everywhere books are sold.
But it's sold out at Barnes & Noble, so go somewhere else.
So you probably have to buy it online. But if you do buy it, this is the one thing I do want to say. If you buy it, please take a picture of you with it, or of it in a cool place, or in an airport, or with your suitcase, or whatever, and tag me in it, and then tag your location, because we are doing a fun map thing that was Ray's idea, where every time we get a picture of the book in a new place, we put it on the map. So, I don't know, we've probably got 20 states so far, but that's a lot more to go.
We need like a fun goodbye.
Like, happy travels, don't die.
Stay safe, don't fly Boeing, and we'll see you next week.